you so much, why didn't they just kill you?
That's a really good question, and I would like to answer it.
Okay, just the beginning of what we got to share with you today. Welcome to Law and Crime. I'm Michael Bryant. That is defendant Robert Tejas. Yes, it is Tejas, not Tellus. Erase that from your brain. Mr. Tejas is expected to take the stand again today out in Las Vegas. They'll get underway in half an hour, give or take. And this is going to be one intense cross-examination to continue from the prosecution. If you're new to this case, Tejas is a former Clark County public administrator accused of killing Jeff Gehrman. In a long time, he was a longtime investigative reporter for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, which is like the key paper out there. Before Gehrman's death, he wrote several articles about Tejas, alleging a hostile work environment and an affair with a staff member. During that time frame, Tejas lost his primary bid for re-election. On Labor Day weekend of 2022, surveillance video allegedly showing Tejas posing as a landscaper to approach Gehrman's property and stabbing him to death on his lawn. However, Tejas denies killing Gehrman and believes he was framed by a crooked real estate firm. The defendant faces up to life in prison if convicted on the charges of murder with a deadly weapon of a person aged 60 or older. So we expect Tejas to be on redirect examination when the court gets back into session. Like I said, about 12:30 Eastern time. So let's bring you up to speed. In Tejas' Day 2 testimony, he told the jury through one long narration that he was a victim of a massive conspiracy with Compass Realty and local investigations. These folks are after him, he says. Aside from attempting to explain away evidence of him at the crime scene, the real estate firm has been at the center of Tejas' testimony. He's accused Compass Realty of being behind Gehrman's murder because Tejas and investigators were allegedly cracking down on all sorts of corruption at the real estate firm. He has also accused the firm of backing up Tejas' opponent in his unsuccessful election bid. So naturally, a cross-examination. The prosecution dove right into some of these issues, got a little deep on the theory. Let's check it out.
So you're trying to tell us that Compass Realty was so upset with you that they backed a candidate who wins, but then they just can't wait any longer, so they murder a reporter? They can't wait for 3 months?
I would recommend that the jury watch the video and again see the time at which the order was filed. And I think you might agree that, yes, that is absolutely the case, sir.
So the answer to my question is yes.
That
Compass Realty, even though they successfully backed a candidate that defeated you in a primary, they couldn't wait another 3 months for you to leave office, correct?
because I've got the authority to really crack things open then.
So again, he's answering the question. These are fairly complex questions. They require complex answers.
Sure that each of you
Sir, are you finished?
I am now, sir.
Okay. So then my next question is this. If they hated you so much.
I don't think they know me to hate me, but sure.
Well, I mean, they're willing to kill people over you, right?
I guess they would have hated me, yeah.
Right. And if they hated you so much, why didn't they just kill you?
That's a really good question, and I would like to answer it. My belief as to why they did.
Please tell me why they didn't just bother killing you.
Because if they'd killed me, would that have stopped Nevada Real Estate Division from investigating them? No. If they killed me, would anybody have felt the duty to continue my work because I was actually doing this? I think so. So murdering me would have not discredited me. It would not have put me in a position where all the work that I was doing just got left by the wayside. It would make no sense to kill me.
So your theory is that Jeff Gehrman is collateral damage?
When you've taken into account the fact that months earlier we had this public feud, it's a pretty convenient way to do this.
So the guy who writes the articles that ends your career, they reward him by killing him?
Well, again, like I said, it was a pretty good way to do this.
And let's not get it twisted. Rita and Alicia are part of the conspiracy that loop in Jeff Gehrman, and they're in cahoots with Compass. So they're like, you know what? Thanks, Jeff, but you got to go. That's what you're suggesting?
And like I said, I don't know that they knew about that particular aspect of the conspiracy, sir.
Okay.
I mean, I would certainly think that they wouldn't, because you're right. I can't imagine that they would know and be okay with that, sir.
Isn't it also true that Roberta testified that once you lost, Rita Reed was actually reversing the things that you did in the office, right?
That would be her prerogative at that point.
Okay. So changes were even afoot before you had even left office, correct?
Sure.
And you even told us that once Rita took over, nothing came of the things that you wanted to, like none of the things that you want to investigate were ever done, right?
I was talking about the fact that I had this investigative authority against Compass Realty that I had just gotten just a few days before Mr. Gurman was murdered, and she never picked up that torch and ran with it. And it's clear why she didn't, because Compass Realty gave her that money, despite the fact that, as you saw, sir, she, and these homes, millions of dollars in theft,
So
sir.
the answer to my question is yes. Rita Reed never followed through with the things that the authority that you had, correct?
Regarding Compass Realty, yes, sir.
Thank you. And just to be clear, she was going to have full authority as of January, right?
Yes, sir.
And the authority could have gotten Compass in trouble, but that risk was eliminated once they put Rita in, according to your theory, right?
Once she actually became the public administrator, that would be the case. But while I was still, as you call it, a lame duck, I was still coming after them, sir.
Okay, so your thought is murder was the only way.
There might have been other ways, but it was again, if they didn't do it, they sure had a windfall for it that they didn't expect.
So how did Compass break into your home to plant this evidence?
Like I said before, I don't know how it got in there, but I did not put
How
it there,
did they
sir.
plant the hat?
Again, I don't know how it got there, but I didn't put it there.
How did they plant the shoes?
I don't know how it got under the couch, but I did not put it there.
How did they get your DNA in there?
Again, I don't know when and where that DNA was allegedly obtained, so I couldn't say, sir.
How did they put the images in your phone?
Again, I don't know if that was in my phone or on a corrupt image or what have you. Again, you cannot say when or where any of this occurred, really.
Okay, believable? I don't know. I have to disclose that I did work for Compass for about 3 years, and not once did we get any emails, texts, have any seminars, or directions on how to frame somebody. So, just to throw that out there. Okay, joining me this hour, I have a trial attorney, Catherine Lizardo, and criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor, Matty Mangino. Matt, this is a wild story. I don't know that it's not true, but tell me what you think just about this complex story that this entire real estate firm has decided to frame this guy.
Well, Michael, it's bizarre, and that last exchange that we just watched is really laughable. Talk about desperation. You're going to take the witness stand in your own behalf, but you really don't have any explanation for anything that's happened or how this frame up was done, or how evidence got into your home, how DNA got under the victim's fingernails. It's bizarre, to say the least.
Yeah, of course he doesn't know. He's been framed, Matt. That's how a frame works. So, Catherine, I think Matt used the right word, desperation. I don't think anybody expected Tejas to take the stand in this case. There's no self-defense. This is I didn't do it. Some other dude did it. What does it tell you that he just decided, I'm taking the stand?
I think he was deciding that he will take the stand for a long time. What's interesting that he mentioned at the beginning of his narrative when he testified is that I've been waiting to say this, and I've been thinking about what I'm going to say since I was arrested 3 years ago, since he was in jail. And let's remember that Tejas is actually a lawyer as well, as a public administrator. So he knows how to talk on the stand as a witness. That's why there was a stipulation between the parties that he is allowed to do that, because usually a defense attorney would not allow their client to testify in the narrative, and the prosecutor would love him to testify in the narrative. But here, I feel that because of his background as a lawyer, that's why he was allowed and stipulated to go ahead and testify on his behalf and explain this complicated conspiracy that he's claiming.
Of course, and attorneys, they're smartest people in the room. So, of course he did that. Okay, now, another piece of this puzzle is, of course, where was Tejas when Gehrman was killed? There's a digital footprint, or lack thereof, he's accused of leaving behind. Let's listen now to what originally was said about that on the stand. Here we go.
And I don't feel the need to respond to every single text message immediately. I don't know, I'm personally that way. If I don't find a sense of urgency in it, I believe it can wait a bit. Sometimes I won't respond to, even if it's a person who's sending me a text message, I won't respond to the next day. It's just whatever mood I'm in. So I personally don't think that there's anything suspicious about my phone use here. So I went to the gym, like I said, at about 12 and got checked in about 12:09. Did my workout, went home, picked up kids later, and, I can't imagine the kind of person that would.
Objection.
Sustained.
So I personally can't imagine myself to be the kind of person.
Sustained.
I am not the kind of person who would stab someone.
The objection was sustained.
Okay.
Sir, you maintained that on the morning, September 2nd, 2022, you were at home, correct?
Right, except for when I went to take a walk.
You deny going over to 7216 Bronze Circle, correct?
Yes.
That is your wife's Apple Watch, correct?
I mean, it's got a picture of my daughter on it, so I'd have to assume that it is.
No. That's the same picture you just told us about from your text messages, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's at 10:35, correct?
Yes.
It says Friday, correct?
Yes.
It also says Rob up in the corner, correct?
Yes.
Please read to this jury, what does it say underneath that photograph?
It says, "Where are you?"
Where are you? You told us you were at home.
I did not. I said, actually, when I got the messages, I was still on my walk.
Sir, is it your testimony that you were at home on the day in that morning?
Not the entire morning, no. And I said that to you, sir.
And let me ask you this question. That message isn't on your phone, is it?
It isn't. I mean, if it was sent, it should have been.
One at a
But
time, one at a time,
Sir,
please.
yes or no? That message isn't on your phone.
why it isn't, I wouldn't know, because apparently it's not.
ask you why.
It's not on my wife's phone either.
Sir, I didn't ask you why. I asked you a yes or no question. That message is not on your phone, correct?
From what you showed me, it is not.
And you were in possession of your phone on that day, correct?
On that day, yes.
And you, as the owner of the phone, have the ability to save messages and delete messages, correct?
Yes.
Because the person who holds the phone controls the information, correct?
At that moment, yes.
Right. And she's asking, where are you? Right?
Yes.
At that same time, at 10:30 in the morning, we've seen video surveillance of a car that you say looks just like mine driving in Mr. Gehrman's neighborhood, correct?
That is correct.
Sir, if you left your phone at home, you wouldn't have been able to respond to that message, correct? If you were not next to it, correct?
That's speculative, but
If you left your house and left your phone at home on the morning of September 2nd, and your wife's texting you, where are you, you wouldn't have been able to respond to that, correct?
But I did not.
I didn't ask you that. If you were not in your house on September 2nd in the morning, and your wife sent you a message with a phone you had left at home, it would have been impossible for you to answer that question, correct?
Again, this is a speculative answer.
He can answer.
I'll ask you again.
Again, that would have been if in fact that was the case, if in fact I left my phone at home, then sure, yes.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Okay, these are days that not just prosecutors, but any attorney that is examining a witness of this kind just salivates over. And the problem, I think, here, and let me ask Matthew Mangino and Catherine Lazardo about this. Maddie, let me ask you, it's almost too easy. It's almost like, Aaron Judge is playing t-ball with the kids. And there's I think a problem that you get overconfident maybe. And like you're thinking, maybe I'm missing something, but this guy is not doing well. I'm killing it. How do you think the prosecution's doing here?
Well, I think the prosecution is doing an excellent job. The questions are concise. He is forcing the witness to answer the question. So, even though Tejas is trying to be or is intentionally being deceptive or trying not to explain exactly what he means, being evasive, this prosecutor is pushing him to answer the question to ask. And it's not as though these are difficult questions. It's not as though these are speculative, although he raised his own objection at one point there. These questions are straightforward. They're easy to answer. This jury's got to be sitting there bewildered by what they're hearing from the defendant in this case.
Yep, it is. It's not good. So we'll take a break there. About to, again, fire up again out in Las Vegas in just a few minutes. Before we do that, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Young Thug. I had such high hopes for the new judge and things moving along. We'll bring you up to speed on that right after we take a break.